Worldwide Hippies presents Hippie News and Stuff with Winston Smith and the Worldwide Hippies News Team.
Welcome to Hippie TV News and Stuff for the week of March 7th. Brought to you by WorldwideHippies.com, Citizen Journalism on the Web. We're all Winston Smith. Corporate giants caught spying, the real Burning Man, the doc on pretzel merchants, go around with Ed Croft, the Michael Caine miniseries, Good Cop, Bad Cop, slightly relevant with Hippie Woman, Nabru Magic has the week off, Wendy Starr's late for work again, our asshole of the week, and more. Top story. WikiLeaks expose, corporate giants were caught spying again. By Ash Pemberton, writing for thegreenleft.com. She says the release of secret emails from private intelligence company Stratfor by WikiLeaks has opened the door on the world of spying for profit. More than 5 million emails between Stratfor employees were stolen by hacker group Anonymous in December last year. The emails were passed on to WikiLeaks, which began releasing them on February 27th. The emails show the inner workings of Stratfor and its connections with the U.S. government and big corporations. Stratfor is revealed to have a group of paid informants in the U.S. government, embassies, media organizations, and intelligence networks who provide it with information. The release also highlights the revolving door between government agencies and private security firms. This is very big news, reported very little. Simply put, your tax dollars are being given to private corporations headed up by ex-intelligence personnel for the United States, training and salary previously provided for by the taxpayer. Some with retirement and medical packages for life still being paid for by the taxpayer, who in return spy on taxpayers and engage in unlawful acts for the government and other corporations against the taxpayer, then provide information and services to overt and covert government agencies, all financed by the taxpayer, to be able to determine whether to take overt or covert actions, legal and illegal, against the taxpayer targeted by whoever has the cash. And now here with more pretzel logic is the doc.
What's up, Doc?
Buenos dias, hippies, paz en el barrio. Winston, kind words are always welcome. Bugs will your health. It's always all about all. As it stands now, a large amount of the tar sands oil in the Keystone Pipeline is going to go to Texas, where it'll be refined and then loaded onto tankers and sent around the world for bigger oil company profits and more greenhouse gas. Still, notwithstanding both of these additions and to the supply, oil prices are more likely to go up than to go down, both in the short and long term, according to the Bloomberg folks who watch over that stuff. None of the Keystone oil is earmarked either for Canada or the U.S. Canada where it's extracted, U.S. where it'll be refined. It will in fact all be sold on contract to buyers around the world, India and China most prominently probably. Baby drill is good for the business of oil companies and their investors and speculators. For the actual inhabitants of the U.S. or of the rest of the planet, maybe not so much. Still, under presidential prodding and promises, the U.S. is drilling more and more, deeper and deeper, for energy security, even though we are using less and less than in previous years. Here's a dirty secret. If energy sufficiency were truly vital to national security, the whole energy industry, from exploration to retail, gas, coal, and nuke everything, would be nationalized. No, really, seriously, I mean, the global corporates no longer profess even the most nominal pro forma national loyalties. They are truly global, and because they have bought out governments, they can be powers unto themselves, or, as like Monsanto does, hire their own armies. They don't need you anymore, Mr. and Mrs. Joe and Mary Cheesecake America. Their loyalty is not to the USA. Don't you ever delude yourselves about that. So, if our national security depends on energy security, which implies that we should command within our borders sufficient energy resources to secure our national interests against competitors and or enemies, why, answer me, do we trust our national security to the tender mercies of corrupt, conniving, skeevy fuel merchants? If the issue really is security, how can we be secure if we have to beg and bargain with international conglomerates for oil to run our ships and planes and tanks, not to mention the vehicles of our domestic economy? How are we secure? Well, you know the answer to that, hippies. We'll chat it up at the beach. Paz, back to you in Hippie Central, Winstone.
Thanks, Doc. Once again, you proved life is a long alleyway without any dumpsters. Now it's time for Good Cop, Bad Cop. Meet Fausto Lopez and DJ Watts. Officer Fausto Lopez was arrested by DJ Watts at gunpoint and charged with reckless driving. Watch this.
Now, this is dash cam video from the trooper's car just after 6:30 a.m. on October 11th. According to the police report, the trooper noticed the police car when it passed her and crossed over all lanes of traffic. The trooper tried to stop the police car, but the driver allegedly ignored the lights and siren and continued to drive recklessly. The report says the officer finally pulled over about 7 minutes after the trooper first noticed the reckless driving. And you can see in the video the trooper actually approached the police car with her gun drawn, and she handcuffed the driver, whom troopers identified as Miami police officer Fausto Lopez. He was in uniform and said he was on his way to work an off-duty work detail and had to get there by 7 a.m.
Officer Fausto Lopez, bad cop. Officer DJ Watts, good cop and cool lady. How about a round for everyone? Here's Ed Croft.
Hey Winston, how's it going? Circles. Yeah, I've been getting into a few of those conversations lately. You know, mostly has to do with Obama. And people keep going on. They're trying to find any reason to hate Obama, to knock Obama, or what have you. The recent one that I got involved with was with oil prices, and then blaming Obama for the rising gas prices. You know, and you bring back to them, and you show them that a lot of it has to do with dwindling oil, that speculators are involved in all this, and there's a lot of stuff that's out of Obama's hands, and they say, you know, and you say that he's already threatened to release oil from the National Reserve and basically flood the market to, you know, give it to the speculators if they don't knock it off. And they end up coming around and they say, oh yeah, well, you know, if drill baby drill and all that, and then you tell them he just opened up 38 million acres of the Gulf for new exploration. 38 million acres, and that's not enough. You know, it's like then they turn around and they say, well, he's ineffectual, he's impotent, he can't get anything done. And it's like, what? You know, there's no winning the argument. There's not that you want to win the argument, you just want to show them the facts and say there's a lot more to it than just, you know, Obama's just the president of the United States. This is a world issue. But, you know, I mean, that's just like with this whole fuss over contraception, you know, and they're saying, oh, they're forcing this on the church and everything and all that, and the whole thing was all blown out of proportion. And the thing is, I mean, there are many Catholics and others who use contraception despite what the church says, you know, and you know, the whole hoopla just gets all blown out of proportion because Obama's forcing this on people, you know, and he's not. He just, you know, they went back and they made the change, you know, based on, you know, the input that they got back, the feedback that they got back. Okay, so they adapted it, you know, but they still got to keep going. But in the same time, you know, they're over here shouting about separation of church and state, separation of church and state. The state can't force this. But then they post these things about, oh, you know, God, dear God, why is there such violence in our schools and everything? And God sends back and says, well, that's because you won't let me in there. And you're like, what? You know, you want separation of church and state, but you want God in your schools, you want God in your government, you want God on your money. You know, you can't have it both ways. Separation of church and state is separation of church and state. But, you know, it's just, you know, I don't know. It's all circles. For me, the only circle that is of importance is the sacred hoop of life. And the one that brings love to everyone. My heart to your heart. One heart, one spirit. Aho. Back to you.
Thanks, but it's not the circles, Brother Ed. It's the swirls, man. Now, swirling through time and space, it's the Michael Caine Minute.
Hey, Winston. It's Michael Caine with the Michael Caine Minute. What's happening? Just Joan? You alright?
Yes.
I'm here with Art Linton, one of the Southeast's most famous, at least best singer-songwriters. That fame thing, you know, you don't get paid with that, so. And I'm gonna let Art go, and then I'm gonna follow him up with a couple poems. Art Linton, y'all. Art Linton.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Am I cutting in now?
Go ahead. Yeah.
This is called Not Merely an Escape Mechanism. Not being a man carrying a rifle, being a man not carrying a rifle, being a woman not trying to be like a man. Damn, a woman should carry a rifle, perhaps. It's called No Thoughts of Christmas. I'm smoking a blunt, started lifting weights because everybody called me a runt. Can you tell what is fact, what is fiction in these words that I weave? It's called My Idea. In the life we are living, they say that in the life we are living, they say that they don't want us to have sex unless it is kind that the Pope wants us to have. Churches pointing one finger, holding out their hand for a handout. Man wants to be elected with this part of his platform, like Aerosmith. A man wants to be elected with this as part of his platform, like Aerosmith once said, give me a little kiss, like this. Well, they didn't exactly say it like that, but you get my idea. Last one here with Art Linton. I'm going to do a poem called Say Nice Things. Say nice things, see nice things in the things that surround you, and you might be amazed at how happy life has found you. Art Linton, folks. Art Linton.
Yay!
Winston, buddy,
Yay.
that was cool, wasn't it? Wave to Winston there, Art. Say, hey, Winston.
Peace.
Peace, Winston.
Baby.
All right, back to you, Winston.
Thanks, Michael. Love the poems, love the music, and want your hat. Now, from the Instant Karma files is this.
Instant Karma's gonna get you.
Yeah. Okay, go.
And now, just the facts. Dr. Woody's fascinating factoid number 1, remembering the Alamo.
This is Dr. Woody's fabulous factoids. I feel like I should be wearing a coonskin cap. On a historical note, tomorrow, March 6th, marks the anniversary of the fall of the Alamo. the day on which Texans and others celebrate the, quote, heroism of those sturdy frontiersmen and patriots who held off the Mexican army under Santa Anna outside of San Antonio in March of 1836. Texicans and other hyper-patriots, I think of John Wayne and Ronald Reagan, that like, they get all misty-eyed about this. It's a myth, though, that the Alamo was fought for freedom. You knew that, right? Because it wasn't. It was fought to defend slavery. Travis's men died to prevent Mexico from stopping slavery in Texas. The first official act of Mexico as a sovereign nation was to sign the international treaty prohibiting slavery in 1820 and outlawed slavery in Mexico and in Texas. The Texicans wanted to reverse that. The only man left alive inside the Alamo on March 7, 1836, who had been inside on March 6, 1836, when Deguelo was sounded, that was Travis's slave. He was freed. So you could say, though the Tejanos hate to hear it, that the Battle of the Alamo was fought, in fact, to free one unjustly enslaved individual, and that the real humanitarian heroes of the day were Santa Anna's army. History's just fascinating, ain't it, hippies? Back to you and Hippie Central, Winstone. Pause.
Doc, I'm an Avis man myself. Now, from sunny LA, it's Hippie Woman.
Hi, Winston. Doctors in China are trying to figure out how to remove a thermometer from a woman's lungs that's been stuck there for 44 years. The Hunan province doctors say they found a 2-inch long medical thermometer in the lungs of a patient identified only as Liu, and she told them that she accidentally swallowed the thermometer when she was 12 years old and her family couldn't afford medical care. Doctors said the woman only recently began to feel discomfort from the thermometer, and they are concerned about the damage the mercury could do from the woman's body if the glass breaks. She's undergoing tests now. A Frenchman took Google to court on Thursday over a photo published online by its Street View application showing him urinating in his front yard. He believes it's made him the laughingstock of his village in rural northwest France. The man lives in a village of about 3,000 people and is demanding the removal of the photo, in which locals have recognized him despite his face being blurred out. He also wants 10,000 euros, a little over $13,000 for damages. His lawyer told Reuters, "In this particular case, it's more amusing than serious, but if it was an image of a man kissing another woman than his wife, we'd have the same issue." The court is due to give his verdict on March 15th. A New Mexico man said he discovered the image of Jesus Christ on a tortilla that he was preparing on Ash Wednesday. David Sandoval said he was shocked to discover the face of Jesus in his food, but he's always been a believer of Christianity. It became even more astonishing with it being the first day of Lent, Sandoval said. Everybody has been able to see it. They're calling it a miracle, Sandoval says. Pudding the cat is huge. He's orange, he's laid back, and he's a lifesaver. Just ask Amy Young. The 36-year-old Wisconsin resident credits the 21-pound pudding with saving her life from the grip of a diabetic seizure mere hours after she adopted him from a local animal shelter. "If something or someone hadn't pulled me out of that, I wouldn't be here," Young told the Green Bay Press-Gazette newspaper. On February 8th, Young visited the Door County Humane Society with her son Ethan. She had no intention of adopting a pet, and she and her son just wanted to play with the cats, who were allowed to roam free at the no-kill shelter. Pudding and Young felt a strong and immediate connection. Young made an on-the-spot decision to bring Pudding home. Amy went to bed around 9:30. About 90 minutes later, she started to have a diabetic seizure. That's when, according to the Green Bay Press-Gazette, Pudding planted his weight on her chest, and when he couldn't wake her, he began swatting her face and biting her nose. The convulsions stopped long enough for Young to call her son for help. When he didn't respond, Pudding ran to his room and jumped on his bed. Young is convinced she would not have survived if Pudding hadn't intervened. Pudding is now being registered as a therapy animal. Have a great week, hippies, and back to you, Winston.
Thanks, Hippie Woman, but you gotta agree, it looks more like Jerry Garcia than it does Jesus Christ. Oh, I see it's time for our Asshole of the Week, and this week it goes to Kazuka Kohara and Koji Tuzkata for their dystopian gun, the Speech Jammer, that can literally jam somebody's voice, effectively stopping them from talking. It operates on a well-studied principle of delayed auditory feedback. By playing somebody's voice back to them at a slight delay, around 200 milliseconds, you can jam a person's speech. Science fiction, the devices were used to control dissent and free speech. Now that the devices are science fact, already the Air Force, Navy, and law enforcement have shown interest in the speech jammer. For research only, according to their press spokespeople. Research my ass. If it can be used to control free speech and free people, they're going to use it. And it was only a matter of time before this assault weapon was developed by somebody. But because Kazuzuka, Kuhara, and Koji Tukasada used their talents, both are PhDs in research, to create a tool to harm human beings, both of you are Worldwide Hippies, asshole of the week. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and visit worldwidehippies.com daily for real news 24/7. And pick up a copy of Hip Poetry or make a donation on the site so we can keep up the howl for peace and justice. And you will see the Doc, Wendy Starr, Ed Croft, Michael K. Poet, Hippie Woman, Nabru Rajic, and yours truly, Winston Smith, here next Monday.